Welcome back. You cannot whip, bro. Otherwise the table is moving.
Really?
Yes, I've seen the screen moving. Very authentic start, huh?
Yeah, definitely. No, we are fighting for a seat here.
Yeah, and we need to sit like this because we have one microphone. Next time we'll have two. Or we just need to go to the mall and buy another one. So guys, welcome back. CEO Chronicles number 5, this time with a very special guest, João. Some of you might know him from previous videos or conversations or the company we're building at the moment. And some of you, it will be the first time. So we are good friends and business partners since 1.5 years now.
Correct.
And sometimes you meet people and it feels like you know them forever. And I feel like this was the click and the connection that we had after a very short period of time. Obviously, in the first 6 months, we haven't seen each other in person. We started working together, and then when we met, it felt like somebody from the family that you haven't seen in a while, but it felt very familiar. But let's get to that in a second. Who are you? Where are you from? How old are you? What are you doing? Tell us something.
Now I really wanted to start on the previous point, how we met for the first time. Yeah, so glad I shaved yesterday because I was thinking on this. I was going to the bathroom a few minutes before this. So I was thinking on that. Yeah, who am I? So, yeah, as Tom said, I think some of the people that will watch this met me either on calls or uh, in the event that we had in Lisbon, the skier event. But essentially, I'm basically a guy from Portugal. Um, I was sitting my whole life uh, in Lisbon. I was traveling a little bit from time to time with my parents and friends, but I was essentially based in Lisbon. And mm, where do we want to start? Like how I found the Skira, what I've been doing.
Let's start with what have you done after school?
After school, okay.
Or let's
Or
start
maybe a
let's
little,
start
yeah,
let's start
yeah.
a bit earlier
Yeah.
because we
So,
haven't raced a card yet, but you have a good history in racing. You
yeah,
have a good history in soccer. So what have you done through your youth?
yeah.
What did you enjoy?
So essentially, I was born, and then I had two parents. So my dad was very much into. His dream was to be a race car pilot. That was it, and he got into it very early on his own, without anyone really helping. But he was a little bit of an entrepreneur at the same time. Um, Very energetic, loves to do things and talk to people. I think some of my obviously personality traits come from him. And my mother was a little bit more calm. Studied languages. She was a little bit more into art and environment, and she did a little bit of everything. But she was working, I remember, for a long time in, how do you call it, art pieces recovery
Yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah, I was just a normal guy in school studying, having some friends, and my father really wanted me and pushed me into sports. So everything. He really wanted me to do sports. So I went to football, then basketball, then racing, and I had the,
How did you play basketball with like 1 meter 70?
yeah, I was passing in between their legs. So yeah, I'm not that tall, but let's move forward.
Was that the reason why you stopped basketball?
No, actually, I did it for 8 years in school, but then I went to university and I stopped. But racing was really like, my father really pushed me and I loved it. It was amazing. Amazing. So I started in some carts, and then um, I think I did well, average, uh,
You
enough
didn't do average. Like
enough to keep doing it. And then he started pushing me into real cars. So no more karting now, really, real cars. So as soon as I turned 18, I started on it. I did 2 years, and then I had to choose.
How is that? Before you go through it like it's very normal, you know, that you suddenly you're semi-professional sports car racer, but that's a very different way from most of the people. Like how is your day looking like? How was the competition? How did you do in these? Did you enjoy it? What was it? Was it also talent that you had from your dad because he was a professional racer? Were you passionate about it? Just how did the day look like? Were you passionate about it? What? Just give us a bit more context.
It really passed by me. I don't even know how to answer some of those questions because I was just in school, and then on the weekends I was just racing. Obviously, it was a huge privilege because I had someone to push me into it. Um, but it also has some costs and it requires some time and knowledge. So my father was really teaching how to race, how to do the turns, how to brake, so there's a lot of things around it. So I had that luck because otherwise I could just rent a cart and have some fun. But it was turning a little bit professional, so he really wanted me to be good at it. So my days were normal. I was just in school, but in some weekends I would have some train sessions or really race. Um, so that was it. But I was just a kid. I was 10, 12, then I was 14, then I was 16. It just happened. My life was 100% into school and normal things. But on the weekends we would do it. But at some time it got a little bit professional because I had some individuals from the industry that wanted me or wanted to try me on some other contexts, more professional. And I was at some period, at a certain time, I was already aiming for something European and stuff. But I didn't really feel it, it was normal. Then my dad made me a very hard question that I didn't even know it was hard back then. He asked me if I wanted to stop school and be professional on that or just keep going with school. And no pressure, zero pressure. It's like you're 12, choose whatever you want. And I didn't realize how good or how bad I was. I had no idea. Uh, there were people that were very good, so I still think I was average. Um, and I chose school. So I chose friends. I chose interesting actually that I chose the most comfortable path. I didn't choose what was unknown, and I had no pressure, so I was happy with it. Years later, I then tried a race car with real cars, um, and I was not anymore in the flow of growing as fast as I was growing. So it was just for fun. We won some things.
Yeah, but I think I can really relate to this because I don't even know if I told you I played soccer on a pretty good level when I was younger, and then when I was also 12, around 12, I also had the decision of going full into soccer and sports, and go to I don't know actually what the English word for it is, where you just do this full time. So your
Yeah.
day has 2 times of training, and the rest is school
Yeah.
with your teammates. You know, so and I also decided to stay with my family, with my friends, with school, which now is like I think we're in a blessed position in the life that we're living at the moment. So now looking back, I think it was the right decision. Um, but you always say you wish you had a second life where you can make the other decision just to see and test how it feels. What do you mean by that? Do you regret it?
No, I don't. But I would love to live 1,000 times just to experience everything. For example, when I was 8, I wanted to be a taxi driver. and I had this game, and I was a taxi driver. So I wanted to be a taxi driver, and I had this game on something called Dreamcast. It was something like PlayStation at the time, and there was a game called Taxi Driver, and I loved it. Just bringing people to one spot to another one and being paid for it. It was just fun, and I wanted to be a firefighter also, especially firefighter and taxi driver, and I still would love to. I would love to be a firefighter for 1 month, real one, and I would love to be, I don't know, delivering Uber Eats.
Don't you feel like a firefighter sometimes because you're dealing with so much headache and problems, and you always need to like.
Yeah, but I really wanted water and fire involved. But every profession, um, for a more high income or low income, I don't care. I would love to try everything,
But the taxi driving you did for some time.
and I did.
When
So,
when did that happen?
yeah, so basically, I was in university. I was doing some part-time jobs, um, weekdays and weekends, but these part-time specifically in the summer, there would be no work, or the work was much less. So I wanted to find another thing to earn a little bit extra, and Uber arrived to Lisbon in that exact same year, and it was very easy. Like companies were finding or looking for people to drive as Uber drivers, and I thought, this is fun. You just need the app, you drive the car. There was not many rules and regulations around it.
Were you driving them in your Ferrari, or
No,
was
it
that
was
your
another
car?
car. So I have a Ferrari from the year 2000 that wrongly was named Fiat and wrongly is called the model Punto, and that is falling apart. So, and I still have it. I still drive it. So it's my Ferrari, gray one. Amazing. And if you hold on this thing,
The handle where
the
you
inner
can
handle, yeah, you just keep it in your hand because it falls it falls down. So yeah, but I did Uber driver for 2 summers, mainly on the weekends, 7 to 7, always 7 in the morning, 7 in the afternoon, or 7 in the afternoon, 7 in the morning.
I think that's why you're. I think I never told the story. I need to give a quick side story. So I don't know if it came from having two car accidents or being involved. I never had a car accident myself, but I was in the car while two accidents happened. Nothing serious. One, there was an icy road with my grandpa. We were skiing in the Swiss mountains, and it was just a slippery road, and we slipped, and then we were spinning and tumbling, and I don't know. I remember I was very young, but I remember it very, very clear in my head. And the second time was with my brother on the Autobahn in Germany. It was in the middle of a construction site. We were going slow, but somebody bumped into the back of our car. I don't know if that is the reason or if it's just my nature. I'm a very passive driver, and some people would call me a scared passenger.
No, demanding,
Demanding.
demanding, not scared.
No, I just don't understand why people go so close to the front car that you can read every single letter on the front license plate. It doesn't make sense. It's risk reward, like the upside of driving so close in the trunk of your front car,
You are increasing the chances of.
and
Yeah.
the upside of that being maybe 2 seconds faster compared to the potential increase of an accident is disproportionate.
Yeah.
So, but Joao is the best driver I've ever met. Was that because of your Uber experience and driving through Lisbon, or was it the race car driving,
Yeah.
or a mixture of both?
Yeah. No, I think it was the race car. So my dad taught me a lot of things regarding driving, to a point that I already said to Tom, when I hold the steering wheel, I don't know if it's weird, but for me it's normal. You can feel every single little stone that the tire steps on. So yeah, and there are a lot of feelings, physical feelings that people do not experience because they never had an accident. So they drive too fast, too close, to this, to that. They have no idea how it will feel when they lose control. So they don't know what to do. Actually, I was very lucky. I don't know, 5 years ago, I was on the bridge that connects Lisbon to the south side of Lisbon. We have the Tagus River and the bridge, and it was raining a lot, and I was 30 kilometers an hour, a lot of traffic. The guy in front of me braked really hard, and when I braked also really hard, which is something that you do not do and you learn it on race cars driving. But I did it. The ABS turned on, and the car would not stop. Definitely not. And I was seeing the back of the other car getting closer and closer. I was like 20 meters away, and we have this steel ground.
Yeah.
You lose all the, how do you call it? The
Grip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, instinctively, I just turned right, and I could put my car precisely in between him and the car at his right. And when I explained this to my dad, he said, yeah, that's something that you, without knowing, do because you learned on. So I think, and also another thing is, I had accidents on the racetrack. So I feel a little bit maybe better the limits of the car, and I don't want to test them.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm, how do you say it? It's defensive driving.
Yeah.
You know, because when it happens on the road, it's really bad. The cars don't have the protections that a race car has. I'm in a cage on a race car. I'm not in a cage with a normal car. So it's better not test it. Yeah.
No, but we still need to go kart racing.
Definitely, yeah.
I love to go kart racing. You know, when I was living in Berlin, quite frequently with my friends in Berlin, we went kart racing, and you know, sometimes it turned into, how do you call these when you're on the carnival and you bump into each other?
We call it shocking cars.
Sometimes the kart racing turned more into this, but it's fun. Also, my dad enjoys playing PlayStation, as you know, and he bought a racing seat and a race steering wheel with the pedals. And when I was younger, I also used to race on his PlayStation. I enjoy it. I think I'm semi decent at it, but obviously nowhere to somebody who really did it professionally. But I think if you never sat in a kart for more than 3 times, I think I'm quite decent at it. Maybe the competition also comes up, but I would love to go racing with you.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
We need to do this also.
We need to do it. We had a paddle game today. Actually, in the morning, every time I play paddle with Tom, I just want to win. I cannot be friendly on this. So definitely it's going to be the same on cards. But yeah, looking forward to it.
So good. So that was Uber driving was not during COVID, right? It
No.
was before.
Yeah, before.
How old were you back then?
So I think it was 2016, so 8 years, I was 21. I don't even know how people trusted me. A 21, 22-year-old kid driving them around the city, but it was fine, I guess.
I think it's also a thing that it's fun to talk about this, because now actually people feel better to put their kids into another stranger's car. You could never have done this like 20, 30 years ago. But now with Uber and the growth and technology and advancement and innovation, parents feel comfortable putting their kids into another dude's car and driving them around, you know? So I think, therefore, it just became more natural, more normal. It's a part of innovation, obviously with Uber, with Airbnb.
I also need to give a lot of credit to them, you know? Now I'm thinking about that. I usually don't think about it, but I was so lucky. Like, my parents, they not only tried to give me everything, but I think they thought, this guy is a citizen of the world. He's not property of ours. Let him go through the things and learn from it. Yeah, 21, it's 21. It depends on the culture, it depends on the parents, it depends on the country. but having your 21-year-old kid, 21-year-old kid, just driving around the city on a car from 7 in the afternoon to 7 in the morning, bringing a lot of drunk people home.
Oh, you were driving at night?
Yeah.
Not
Both.
7 morning to
7 morning, 7 afternoon, and 7 afternoon, 7 in the morning. And I did think I wanted to earn as much as possible, let's be honest. So I remember doing, for example, 7 to 10. I would dine for 10 to 10:30 as fast as possible. Then I would do straight until 1 a.m. I would go to bathroom and at 1 a.m. So at 1:05 to 7, it was nonstop. I got so much pain on this right knee because the leg was leaning over to the... But I wanted to take the most out of it. So because that would mean that in the summer I could have proper vacation.
So what has changed to now? Nothing. You still do like 30-minute breaks.
I'm just not driving around anymore. I'm flying around. Yeah, because
speaking of good transition. Speaking of flying, what do you have to do with flying?
Yeah, no, I was thinking, I think I had to be driving something.
Shall I scratch your back?
No.
Are you good?
No. It was on this side. Yeah, so what happened was, so I did engineering, electrical engineering.
When was that?
So I started in 2012. I never knew what I wanted. I knew what I didn't want. I didn't want to do journalism, law, even though I love law, but I was not capable of being a lawyer.
Why?
Personality-wise, I don't imagine myself being a lawyer and working as a lawyer. I love law. So things like that, but I didn't know at all what I wanted to do. So I went to, first of all, in Portugal, in high school, you choose areas. So I chose science. In science, it was the most broad area that would give me more options. So I went for it. And then I went for the engineering that would allow me to have more options. So I never knew. I just wanted as many options as possible. I did 7 years of electrical engineering. It was good. It was a blast. I cannot complain. But I never imagined myself working full-time on an office, coding in front of a laptop. And now I spend 12 hours in front of a laptop. But it's different. I think we will get there during the conversation. But so yeah, I had another thing. So I was living in a building in Lisbon that was precisely below the final approach path of every single airplane that would land in Lisbon. And I knew all the airlines, I knew all the timings, the time schedules. I would go to flight radar, I would see where they are coming from, at which speed, at which altitude, etc. And I eventually I bought Flight Simulator, if any of you guys have, probably yes, hours and hours in Flight Simulator. I didn't have the resources to do the financial resources to start the license, so I forgot about it. And suddenly I had an amazing opportunity to start doing it, with some help, obviously. And I started it. And I'm a pilot today, but I'm considered a private pilot. I cannot fly airliners. I can only fly small private airplanes. And then
let's get to that in a few minutes. So you told me this amazing story about like how passionate you are about airplanes and traveling and flying. Where did that come from?
Just out of nowhere. So my mother was a flight attendant for some years when she was, I don't know, 20 something, on the main airline in Portugal.
Is that TAP?
Yeah.
TAP has something also when we were flying out of Lisbon, where you can self-check in your luggage. I don't understand, guys, if there are any people working at the airport, please make our life easier, and please put more self-baggage check-in options at airports. We have the same thing here with Emirates in Dubai, where you just go 5-6 hours before you fly, you check in your luggage yourself, you go to the lounge, you sit there, you eat, you work a little. It's much more convenient than going to the airport, then 2 hours until flight. Okay, now the check-in is open. There's a long ass line, and then you're almost too late to boarding. It doesn't make sense. So credits to TAP for implementing that in Lisbon.
Yeah, TAP. I will not talk about this, but if any Portuguese is watching this, TAP is a topic. Anyway,
No, share it.
it's a long.
This is not about business. This is not about getting some. We don't have a goal. We don't want to accomplish anything. We just want to have a little chat.
All the Portuguese right now watching are thinking, don't talk about it. Don't talk. It's just a sensitive topic on our society because it's really a mess. You know, it's been public, it's been private.
Yeah, let's not do more.
Yeah.
I was just giving credits to TAP for doing it in Lisbon.
Yeah. No, amazing.
Why are you going this direction?
No, I didn't want to. So, yeah, TAP. So, but my
let's tap out of this.
Let's step out. Let's step out. Yeah. So my mother was a flight attendant, but I was not even born by back then. So it had zero influence. But I don't know. And then I found a photograph of me when I was like 4 years old, sitting on top of a toy that was a plane. Mm-hmm. And then I have these things that I could never imagine that would influence my decision 20 years later.
It's incredible how these things
full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Quick story here. We had last week. Michelle was looking through some of the pictures, some of her old pictures that she digitalized. And there was one picture from her. It's so cute. Can I show it? But it's on my phone. I have it. Let me show it. I will show it to this camera. Just don't... We cannot touch the table. Otherwise, everything is shaking up and moving. So... we found this picture from her. Look at this. And look at this. It's so full circle. We found this picture from Michelle where she was laying with her head on a suitcase.
Ready to travel.
And another one, which was this, with a camera in her hand. Essentially, that's 100% of what she is today.
Yeah.
You know, traveling... always packing. I'm so blessed to have Michelle. She enjoys packing suitcases. I'm the worst, you know. I'm like, whoosh. But not only with packing. But that's another story. But Michelle enjoys packing, and she always knows where my stuff is. So that's so good. I'm good with like organized chaos. But if you're two people, you cannot have organized chaos. You need to have organize. You know, not organized chaos. So, anyway, I love to see how these things are coming full circle, you know, where she was very early holding a camera in her hand, taking photos or packing suitcase. It's so much fun to see how these things come full circle and how much real influence there is from the days when you're not even conscious about it. Let me think if I also have something like this. Because I never strive to be an entrepreneur. I said this before, I think. It was more by accident that I wanted to travel and earn money and find people who I can learn this from. But it was not that I was like, okay, I want to build companies and do all this business stuff and have companies in different countries of the world, and it was never my motivation. It's not that some people have it when they're 12 years old, they have their own lemonade stand or they're entrepreneur. I printed some t-shirts when I was in handball. I designed some t-shirts and then they got printed and I sold them to a few friends. T-shirts fell apart after one washing because I did it so low quality. Maybe if you want to analyze it, there was the first experience of the product needs to be good, otherwise people will not enjoy it and come back to you. But that's very far-fetched. That is very far-fetched. But I think it's so great to see how things are coming full circle. One of my earliest memories is actually being completely full of dirt because I was playing soccer and like raising my hand and having a ball under the underarm. But I didn't become a soccer player because I made also the decision not to proceed with this profession. It's so funny how you can connect the dots looking backward, right?
Yeah. Now I was thinking that we were talking about this 1 or 2 days ago about we being on Montessori schools.
Right.
That
right.
actually also privileges a lot the practical things and not so much the theoretical, and you trying and you doing.
What was your favorite thing in Montessori school?
Yeah, I don't have too many memories. I think I have two. Which one? One is be cleaning the kitchen. Just because.
That definitely didn't transition. Like 100%.
Now you have dishwashers. You didn't have it.
You still need to put the stuff in the dishwasher. If
Yeah,
you would film the kitchen now, there's definitely. Anyway.
Yeah. So.
I remember where I had this time where I was building bridges for 3 months straight. And you know, my dad is a very disciplined, strict person. He softened up a little bit over the last few years, but when I was younger, he was very disciplined, very strict, very direct. I learned a lot from that, but back then it was like interesting, you know, where you get guided in a certain way. My mom is very warm, very lovely, and she's my dad also, but they had a good balance, I believe. So I could take the best from both sides. But that's not where I wanted to go. My mom is a teacher in a traditional school, you know, and hearing that her son was building bridges for 3 months straight was a challenge for my parents because my dad was like, when is this guy doing his homework? And my mom was like, is this really like a good way, you know, like, but I feel like having the freedom to explore your creativity was very important, I think. I mean, Michelle and you said, I'm building bridges now between industries and people and everything. I don't know if you can build this analogy again because it's also very far-fetched.
It cannot be out of thin air. So
yeah.
But I didn't thought at all that could have influence, and they were not that many factors. But yeah,
I think generally it's a challenge, you know. Obviously, we are in that age where kids are not that far away. It's not like 15 years anymore. It could be, obviously, situations always come up, occur, things change. Can you get kids? Can you not? You know, things differ. But the thought of having kids is not as far away anymore as when you were in secondary school or in university. And to think about like how would you raise your kids and in which environment would you like them to be? Because the first years you don't have a choice. You don't choose really your friends. Your best friend is the guy who you get along the most with from the people that live in the same area and go to the same school. But it's not that you have friends like we are now from Portugal and Germany. You don't have that when you're younger. So the thought of how in which system, in which environment would you like to put your kids, I think it's a fascinating one. Did you think about that or not at all? Not so far.
No, I'm still on that phase where when you think about having kids, I first think, do I really want to bring them to this mess where we are in the world? And second is, I think that goes across everyone. Like, are you ready? You know?
Are you ever ready?
Yeah, I knew you would ask that. Maybe we are never ready, but I think everyone thinks about this. It's not, by the way, it's not a plan right now. Um,
Your girlfriend is watching this now.
Yeah,
Like,
my
what the
girlfriend
heck
is
is this guy doing?
definitely, and there's a lot to do first, but we have we are parents already.
I
We are parents already. Michelle is a parent already also.
The thing is, some say their business is a baby, but if you treat it like a baby, you're too emotionally attached to sometimes make the right decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So if people say their business is like their baby and they parent it, obviously you wish the best for your business, but sometimes you need to make the decision to cut an arm off so it can survive,
Yeah.
you know? So but I hear you, I know
Yeah.
where you're coming from. But anyway, so Montessori has been great for us. Um, and also I think the way we grew up is so vastly different. Um, I love the Portuguese culture. I think Portuguese people are so kind, so friendly, so calm, so I don't know. Where does that come from your perspective? That a lot of Portuguese people that I met are the most nicest people. Like I think, and this shouldn't be a shot against Germans, but I think Germans are very structured, very organized, very. Everything is okay, everything is good, but it's not like that they are very joyful people. I think if you need to describe a typical German, you wouldn't describe a very joyful, energized, happy person. While in Portugal, I feel like the people are so different. Where does that come from?
I think in first place we are Latins. That explains a lot. In second place, I think we share. Sorry, but I
He
was
was
touching the
like
table.
he was like doing this with his feet again. I need to stop.
Yeah. In second, we share something with Italians and Spanish people.
Would they agree?
Definitely. I, I I put all my eggs on that basket. We are all Latins. The Greeks are a little bit different, but Portuguese, Spanish, and Italians, we all share this more vibrant energy, and we are always happy, and all we want is sun, good food, and a little bit of party. But we like to live life to the most and be as have as much joy as possible. So that's the first reason. The second reason, I think Portugal is a very small country. We are aware of that. We are not that well developed comparing to Germany and the Nordics and Austria and Switzerland. We are aware of that. And I could say a lot more things and say we are aware of that after. Because we are aware of that, it's what makes the difference. We are humble. We know that we really need to work hard to differentiate ourselves from what already exists all over Europe. It's the food, it's the nice weather, but if it's not the people, we cannot really differentiate ourselves. So I think, and we are always trying to catch up with the rest, with the others. Always. We are never, they will get mad to me, but generally speaking, we are never at the front seat. We are always trying to catch up. We are always the car behind, very close to the back of the next one, because.
But what does that mean? Because like, is it really? Are you guys really behind when you're enjoying more and when you're passionate about what you're doing? Because like, I've heard it and I've seen it so many times. When you get to the top, that is the point where it only goes downwards, you know? So the climb, the passion, the growth, the journey is what's really fun, you know? But I understand, like, culturally, you have a lot of young, unemployed people, um, the economic situation is difficult. But still, you guys are doing so well.
We were so far away from reality for so many time. I think Portuguese people did an amazing thing, which was in in the time frame of 20, 30, 20 years, 24 years, literally from the 2000. In 24 years, we caught up what the rest of Europe did in 80 years. And I think that's amazing. And in this urge of not being behind anymore, we are just, we know we really need to work hard and live the best as possible, and we are just joyful and energetic. And
Because when I can really compare it with like, or build the connection between when we started Askira and the company, we didn't know what kind of people would be joining us sooner or later as community members or as partners and employees. But Portugal, Italy, Spain, they blew us away. We initially, not to go too much into business and details there at the moment, but the feedback that we got from the southern European countries and the people was incredible. They are so open for new ideas, for innovation, for change, for development, for growth, for joy. It's so fun to get to meet so many people from especially Portugal, but also Italy and Spain. I've met some great people in the past 24 months. So I love Portugal. I've been there only once with my parents when I was younger.
you
But
were.
I don't. Yeah, one time.
But did you remember?
No.
Okay.
It was too early. I have no. And we were at the resort. I remember that we flew there. We were in a resort. This typical resort holiday, where you stay like 23 hours a day in your hotel area, and you have a pool. And when I was so like at that age, all I cared about was pool and food. Like I always ate spaghetti, but only with Parmigiano. That was it. I called it spaghetti desert, because no tomato sauce, nothing, just spaghetti desert. And my parents also were like, this guy, like, is he eating his vegetables one day? Now I'm turned vegan, I think I need to catch up on all of
Exactly. All the greens that you didn't
all
eat.
the greens that I didn't eat when I was younger. Not good. Do you feel like sharing anything else? I think that was a good first conversation. I wouldn't go into business now. I felt like it was a great first conversation, hearing a bit more about who you are or what your background is, and leaving what you're doing right now and the last 2 years especially for the next conversation.
Yeah, sounds good.
I would say just let us know either in a message or as a comment or whatever, if you like this part, if you want us to speak more about the business side, if you want to hear more race driving stories about Joao's biggest crashes, about his score in the flight simulator.
By the way, I had one not long ago. First and last big crash. I was flying I was flying on a different city. It was not in Lisbon. So I was going back to Lisbon. I was driving. I was tired, but it was not because of that. I was just driving, and I'm so scared of bees. How do you call when you are?
Yeah, sting.
Sting. I have never been. I don't want to. So it was super hot. We have a lot of them in this road. My window was open, and one of them goes inside the car and goes here.
What did you do?
I was driving. I found one parking ticket here. I grabbed it. I tried to do. As you can imagine, my eyes are not on the road for a long time now. And suddenly I was heading completely off-road.
When was that?
Summer 2022 or 23? No, it was not 22, yeah. Okay. So a little bit before joining Askira.
We didn't.
Yeah.
I have never heard this story.
And that bee made a mess because I went off-road. I did, how do you call it, flips?
Yeah.
My car was flipping outside the road.
Yeah.
And everything was crushed, but I was good at the end, so yeah. Just an interesting story to finish the conversation.
No, good. Then we'll keep it like this for now, guys. Good to see you. I hope all of you are doing well. I hope you're happy, blessed, in a good position, and see you next time.
Drive safe.
Drive safe.